right, here we are in New York City. Well, that was haggard. Here we go. Mr. Matt Hamilton, myself, Itchy and Scratchy, Pinky in the Brain. I don't know who's who. Are you excited to be here?
I am. This is, I'm just glad you brought some more disgusting weather with you.
It follows me around.
It really does.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a 5.1 Richter scale earthquake here. Who knows?
Who knows? Anything can happen.
Who do we have on the show?
We have Pitching Ninja, which is pretty exciting. And
there's
we have
literally
Victor
no
Cruz.
one that you're more excited to talk to than Pitching Ninja.
I am pretty excited.
And Victor Cruz is old news because the Giants are a thing of the past and it's all Jets all the time here in New York City. I'm kidding, of course. It's a busy Tuesday over here in the NFL. I'm here with Matt Hamilton, Goldfarb, yelling at me that there was a countdown, but we're in New York City, he's in LA, and we've got you covered with all 32 NFL teams in between because we had that thing that happens in the NFL, the cuts. Nobody likes it.
Yeah.
It has to happen. The rosters have to get whittled down to 53. So sending our love to everybody who did have to part ways, but also they're going to get picked up. All 32 teams get notifications. All the squads have holes to fill. Practice squads need to be filled up, and those are always my favorite stories of guys who sort of rise and go through that.
Yeah, this definitely isn't the end of the chapter for a lot of the guys that got cut. They're still going to get plenty of opportunities, and I know it's a tough day, it's a tough moment for a lot of them, but there's going to be opportunities.
Will I make my way to the U.S. Open today? That's the real. Get over to FanDuel Sportsbook. The odds are there. It's very far.
The odds are not good. It's not happening.
It's very far, but don't these things go way late into the night? I remember one time I was there till like 3 in the morning, and I had to be at Good Morning Football at 6 in the morning.
Please don't do that.
And it was like a tough swing for me, but I was there. It was like a Djokovic thing. I don't quite remember, but it was my first time at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And I like going. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the scoring or anything. I just like the vibes.
I'd say there's no chance you make it today.
If I get good tickets, I might go. Let us know, guys, at Up and Adams Show, what you guys are thinking about. We had our underreactions yesterday, but we want to dig into, I guess I'm going to call it the biggest story of the day, which is the non-story of the day, and that's that Jonathan Taylor did not get moved. The Colts felt like they didn't get any fair offers for JT, so they decided to hold on to him, and not only that, they placed him on the PUP list, meaning he is out for at least the first 4 games of the season. So the trade request has not been taken off the table. I think he's still wants it, and while it may seem like this is a sort of a sour end to the saga, I don't want to lose sight of, and I don't want you guys to lose sight of the fact that the Colts can still trade him. The deadline was sort of a thing of the Colts' imagination. Like, they put it out there. I don't know quite why. I don't know quite why the Colts do a lot of things that they do. We love this team. We want them to be great. But maybe it incentivizes someone to sort of sweeten the pot, and we still see a deal. Excuse me? We still see a deal happen over the next few weeks. But either way, I don't know. I don't think this is over. And, we just see Jonathan Taylor waltz onto the field and start, like, crushing it and happily ever after in Week 5. What do you think?
Yeah, we love to be positive on the show. It's hard for me here with the way this all went down. Because the whole reason this started is Jim Irsay making his comments about the running back position and why they're not valued and don't deserve to get paid. That caused Jonathan Taylor to make his trade request. And you really just look at the way this played out. As you mentioned, like kind of the imaginary deadline that they put on things. They're asking for a first-round pick and using Christian McCaffrey as the comp. Christian McCaffrey had already been paid by the Panthers. They paid a lot of his money up front. Jonathan Taylor, whoever's going to trade for him, is then going to have to give him this big contract, which we know running backs are not getting.
That's
so to
icky.
ask for a first-round pick is totally unreasonable. And now to put him on the PUP list where he's going to have to miss the first 4 games, that's going to hurt his potential to earn his next contract now because
that's a great
the
point.
numbers aren't going to be there. So I really don't like how this played out from the Colts' perspective.
I mean, even it was summed up. Even the market part of it was Saquon saying it is what it is. Darren Sproles yesterday, he had a lot to say about a lot of things, but we asked him about Jonathan Taylor right at the end, and I go, what advice, what do you think? And he's just like, he's one of the best running backs in the league. And he goes, I don't know. I don't know what I would tell him. So it's sort of at a standstill, but maybe time heals all. Is that like a two-Wusa sort of thing? Maybe they should go on the darkness retreat, both sides, Irsay and JT. It seems like JT's agent and Irsay maybe need to have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to hope things get worked out. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's one of the best players in this league, and an awesome guy. We've heard nothing but great things about him.
Yeah.
Want to see the best for him going forward for sure.
We got Pitching Ninja on the show. We have Victor
Yes.
Cruz on the show. What I said at the cold open about him being old news has a lot to do with, listen, the Jets are the hot number in town, and I want to know how these Giants are feeling. He's plugged in. He does work with the Giants. He's, of course, really close with Sterling Shepard. We'll talk to him about that. And Odell, the other story we should get to is, you know, you texted me, I'm on my flight yesterday, and you go, so the Patriots just don't have a backup quarterback anymore? And I'm like, wait, what happened to Zappy Hour? What happened to Zappy Time? Like, be Zappy. This is, to me, the most surprising cut of the day. The Patriots announced that they cut their backup quarterback and last year's 4th-round pick, Bailey Zappi. The Zappening was a real thing last year. Things looked promising. He showed he can fill in more than adequately if Mac Jones gets banged up. I'm in Green Bay. At this game, week 4, I believe, it was the Christian Watson breakout game when he started scoring touchdowns, and you saw that chemistry develop between him and Aaron Rodgers. But on the other side, I'm in the crowd, like at Lambeau, taking it all in, thinking you're gonna, like, you know, just all the Polish sausages and the beer, and it's all Patriots fans being, who the heck is Zappy? Who's Zappy? Who's that quarterback? What's going on? Because Zappy gets put in there, and I'm like, I know, I can tell you who he is. And it was the sort of first taste we got. He filled in adequately for Mac Jones, and they were even like, there was a movement to make him the starter for the squad. So I think the real read on this is that the ultimate vote of confidence in Mac Jones is there with them removing Zappy from the situation. If you take a look at the quarterback depth chart right now, I mean, it's crazy. He's the entire Patriots quarterback room. What do you even make of that?
Obviously, they're going to add someone eventually, but they're going to add some veteran.
Tom Brady? I mean, okay, they also cut Malik Cunningham. I mean, it'll change at some point, but, I mean, I don't know. Do we like what the Patriots are doing right now?
I kind of like where they're. It is interesting because it's not only the quarterback situation right now. At running back, all they have is Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. That's it. They have like 11 offensive linemen. They're going to be doing some reshuffling. You know, Bill's keeping an eye on everybody that got released over these cuts, and there's going to be some tinkering going on. But it is an odd situation right now.
I like their odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm just going to say that. If you take a look at how things are operating right now, and Patrick Chung sort of really reinforced this. Okay, don't talk about me. We had him on the show yesterday, and he goes, don't talk about our team, which he's not even on the team anymore, but that's okay. But listen, the other 3 squads in this division are hyped. But if you look at the FanDuel Sportsbook odds, I don't know, like all Gronk tells me, and I'll be with Gronk later today, and I promise you he'll bring up Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's going to bring up Bill's impact, what he can do for Mac Jones. Mac Jones obviously probably likes that he's the only guy in that locker room. Like probably likes that he's getting the confidence of the team and doesn't have to deal with that. They have a top 10 defense returning. Why are we sleeping on that? And we can't just dismiss Bill Belichick's greatness, okay, and his coaching ability here. So I quite like that risk.
Yeah, I do too, and I think I'm excited to see what we get out of Mac Jones this year because we know all the stuff that was going on with the offensive coordinator last year. Now he has not only a real offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien, but I think a great offensive coordinator in Bill O'Brien. And we're already seeing the RPOs, which he was really comfortable with at Alabama. O'Brien's working that into the offense. I think that's going to help him tremendously. And the upgrades to the receiving core, adding a Juju Smith-Schuster and some of the other young talent that they have there. I'm excited for Mac Jones this year. And they are flying totally under the radar because of the other quarterbacks in that division.
They're going to run the hell out of the ball like nothing else. They're just going to, Ramondre to Zeke, like falling into the end zone. Zeke's going to have 10 touchdowns. Ramondre's going to have no touchdowns, but he's going to have a ton of. It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to. And
that
in
be
of
boring.
itself is going to help Mac though too, especially with the RPOs.
The Bill. I'm worried about the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I am a little worried about the Bills, and like the Patriots are going to maybe start out the gate sucking, but I know that like right around Halloween they're going to turn it up. But hopefully Vaughn will be back for the Bills now. Sorry. All right, and then Kansas City, the Super Bowl champions, are they just going to keep cooking? What's going on with the 95? My yoga partner. The saga continues. The team announced yesterday they put him on reserve, did not report list. So the holdout's continuing. No certain end in sight. He sort of indicated last week that he'd even be willing to hold out until week 8. If he doesn't report by then, okay, he doesn't get credit for this year. He would be ineligible to hit free agency in the offseason. So this is a bit of a problem. But I see both sides. The GM side's trying to do their part. They have a responsibility.
Yeah.
But his side, he wants to get paid. I get it.
Yeah, and he deserves it. I mean, he's as good as it gets. He's as important a defensive force as there is in this league.
Can they win the Super Bowl without him? That is the only question that Veach and company should be talking about, right, in the boardroom. Can they win a Super Bowl? They couldn't win the first two without him. Can they win the Super Bowl this year without him?
I don't think so.
Why?
I just think he's too important to that defense. You want to pull up this full screen?
Go for it.
Of what we have? The most sacks in the NFL since 2018.
Take me through it.
He is 4th on that list, and as a defensive tackle, that's absolutely absurd. And again, I think there is that aspect of it where, you know, having Aaron Donald in this league kind of takes some of the shine away from what Chris Jones is doing because he's a generational player. But Chris Jones, to me, is a Hall of Fame talent at defensive tackle. And I think last year we finally started to see him kind of get some of that buzz. We saw how important he was throughout the regular season. And then in the playoffs, you know, you chronicled it really well. He had some struggles in the playoffs over the years. Completely broke out in that game against the Bengals.
I mean, he was thinking
win.
about that Bengals situation that whole time, and then he sort of vindicated himself with his performance. They don't win the Super Bowl without him. Can they win it without Chris Jones this year? What do you guys think at Up and Adams Show? We've got a big show. Predict-a-thon is up. We're going to tell you that there's a quarterback in the National Football League, an absolute star, who is going to do something that we've never seen done before. A quarterback in this league is going to make history. I will tell you which one. Victor Cruz and the Pitching Ninja joining us from New York and a green screen because we both were green. Itchy, scratchy, scratchy, itchy. Subscribe to Up and Adams on YouTube. We are live every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Are we bringing back drinking on Fridays on this program? I think we are. September 5th, it all kicks off. We're going to have a quarterback on the show that week. We're going to have 2 quarterbacks on the show that week. We're going to have a big one. Gronk joining us all day on Wednesday. It all kicks off. The fun, September 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern. And I want the comments, people. I want the comments. I want the love. I want it all starting September 5th. The season is here.
It's Predict-a-thon! 8 days of K's NFL season predictions. And here she is with her pick, Kay Adams.
6 shows left for the start of the NFL season, and I'll be giving away my favorite predictions leading up to kickoff. Don't faint, don't freak out. I've got a prediction for you and you. Now, yesterday, we did bear down with Chicago. I picked them as the team that will go from bottom of the division last year to the playoffs this year. So, like, this year's Giants will be the Bears. My 2023 MVP pick, Kellen Moore, don't let me down, baby, a left-handed quarterback. I went with Justin Herbert. Today, here's my prediction. I just want to put this out into the world. I think Jalen Hurts is going to make history this year. What do I mean by that? I think he becomes the first player ever to throw for 4,000 yards and to run and rush for 1,000 yards in the same season. It's never happened before, people. And there's going to be a ton of implications on that beyond making this history, which would be cool to see. It'll make him the #1 fantasy quarterback this year. I'm telling you, I'm looking into the what is it, the little ball, the crystal ball? And this is what I'm seeing. He finished 3rd last year, by the way, in fantasy scoring. It'll also mean that the Eagles likely to be the #1 seed, and it'll also put him in the forefront of making my first prediction of the year of Justin Herbert being the MVP. Wrong, because it might be Jalen Hurts, okay? Kyler Murray was the closest to pulling it off back in 2020. He threw for just a pinch under 4,000 yards, and he ran over 800. So why do I expect Hurts to do it this year? If you start looking at the last 2 years, Jalen, he's been sort of building towards this. It's in his future. He's taken the steps. He would have been so close. I mean, look at this. If he didn't miss those 2 games late in the season last year, come on. With these receivers, this O-line, we're fans of Nick Sirianni / Brian Johnson offense, and we love this. And another year of experience, by the way, under his belt. Not to mention I'm telling you, Hamilton and I saw him, and he just looks like the most dialed-in quarterback in the entire planet. This is the perfect storm for Jalen to have an all-time incredible, record-breaking, historic season. He's locked in, okay? I think we're all about to witness something very special. So there you have it. My prediction, #1 fantasy quarterback, and the unprecedented 4,000 yards through the air and 1,000 yards on the ground. And I do have a lot more predictions to give out before the season kicks off. It is the Predict-a-thon, and so you guys can hit us up at Up and Adams Show with your predictions for this end-of-summer mega event that is Predict-a-thon. All right, let's get to it, guys. We got fantasy bits. Man, Oh, yeah, okay. Predict-a-thon. Love it. Let's get to some fantasy bits here. I'm giving you my quarterback sleepers. I've given those already. Your running back sleepers were last week. Today it's time for the wide receivers. Here are my top 3 values at the receiver spot. I know you have drafts because you're all DMing me to do your draft orders for you. So that's coming up this weekend. First up, Jahan Dotson, okay? 35th right now on Fantasy Pros, behind guys like Michael Pittman and Marquise Brown. So I think we could easily see him crack the top 20 this season. He's got the rapport with Sam Howell. That's been very clear this preseason. I talked to them both. And he snagged this. Oh, touchdown! Oh, are you kidding? I love this. I love this every second of it. He went off against Baltimore. He got 5 straight targets at one point. They're like zeroing in for each other. It's just magic. So I know it's the preseason. But I've talked a lot about Jahan Dotson. I talked about him all through. This is the guy. This is the value pick here. He was looking at Dotson's way more than McLaurin's. Where McLaurin's going versus where Jahan's going, I'm just telling you. And let's not forget 7 touchdowns Dotson put up last year. He missed 5 games with an injury, so the ceiling is super high, and you're not getting a better value out of a wide receiver 3 than Dotson. Next up, Christian Kirk. Oh, he got paid too much. Oh, he didn't deserve that money. I think the market has kind of overcompensated to the Calvin Ridley edition. I'm just going to say that. He's going 31st at the receiver spot right now, despite a top 15 finish last year. Listen, I know he's probably not going to see 133 targets again this year with Ridley back in the mix, and I like Ridley a lot, but he will likely still get, I don't know, 95, 100 plus. Let's not act like he was a one-year wonder. 2021 with Arizona, with Kyler in and out of the lineup, by the way, he still posted a top 25 finish on 103 targets. And listen, the volume of targets might not be the same. Look at this. I just love those Jags this year. We have to do Jags prediction for the season. He might not have the same volume, but I'm convinced, and not just because Hamilton loves the Jags, sort of like the quality of the target will be improved, right? Ridley's going to draw some attention. It might ease things up a little bit, ease up traffic. I'm absolutely buying the dip here and grabbing this wide receiver 2 at a wide receiver 3 price. Finally, let's talk about the Cowboys. Ratings go up. We talk about the Cowboys. This guy, you know who likes that guy? Gronk. Gronk really liked Brandon Cooks, and he said he's going to make a huge difference, and it's part of why he picked them to be the Super Bowl champions this year. And so I started thinking about Brandon Cooks, and I looked at where he was going on Fantasy Pros, 40th at receiver. He's coming off a down year, but that was a dreadful Texans offense, as we know, and he shut it down after the trade deadline, too. Don't forget. I think Dallas presents a perfect situation for him. He will be the unquestioned second option behind CeeDee Lamb, the vertical threat this team has been missing, and we know what the upside is here. He's finished inside top 20 at receiver 5 times with 4 different teams. That's high floor, high ceiling, people. That's very rare. He should bounce back in a big way. Mike McCarthy, let's do this. Be pass happy, please. And again, you're getting him as a wide receiver 4, so the risk is basically 0 for this. I probably feel the best about these wide receivers than any of the stuff we've put out there so far this season. So, I really do. Do you?
Yeah.
I feel good about this. And we like value. We like low risk, and that's what you're getting. Good luck at your drafts. And I don't know that I told you this. Hamilton. Okay. Draft orders. I tweeted that I would do somebody's draft order because I don't think people should pay for cameo kind of stuff. And so then I went to my DMs, and I have a ton, and people are sending me Zoom links, and I'm gonna join their draft. So that's my Labor Day weekend. I'm gonna do that. If you want in on that, subscribe to my YouTube page, and that's where I'm going to sort of talk to people and pull people to do that. So go to @UpAndAdamShow on YouTube and just hit up the comments with your Zooms, your information, the time of your draft, whatever you want. I will get on there and I will dabble in that. I literally promise you guys I will this weekend. Now coming up next, we've got Pitching Ninja on the show. I'm going to hang out with Gronk later, but we've got a Super Bowl champion, Victor Cruz, on the show. He's a Giants legend. How do you feel about the Jets' season in the city, buddy? We'll talk to him after this. We're going to talk Giants and Jets with Victor Cruz, a Super Bowl champion. We got Aaron Rodgers in the building, and I want to sort of ask him, Victor, you know this. Victor's my hookup to any restaurant I want in New York City. Because Victor literally will walk in and once you've achieved greatness and brought a ring to this city, you literally get to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So,
although also if you go to Carbone's website 2 weeks before you come, you can get reservations. You don't necessarily need to have Victor Cruz.
That's
get
not
your
how I operate,
reservations.
but I'm a little concerned that like Alan Lazard is going to have the best seat in the house these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we can't let that happen. What has Alan Lazard even done? Like Randall Cobb can like walk in to I don't even know like I don't even know what the cool restaurants here are anymore. To Via Carota in the West Village and like have a better seat than Victor Cruz can get me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
a little worried about the tide turning in this beautiful New York City. And it stopped raining, by the way. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully.
Victor's supposed to pop on. We're going to have Pitching Ninja on the show, which actually we're really excited about. We're going to do a little NFL, MLB crossover. If you guys don't follow Pitching Ninja from the NFL world, we're super excited to introduce you to him. And he's got some awesome stuff that he does with FanDuel Sportsbook, and you're like obsessed with him. Why?
Because his videos are amazing. Have you those overlay videos with the different pitches and the movement? It's awesome to watch. And you know, if you play fantasy baseball, he gives you a little inside track into scouting some future pickups.
I really, you know what I want to do since we're like grandstanding and like tap dancing here? I want to say our lineup so badly. We have a really, listen, I know they keep showing the YouTube thing, and we're asking for the subscriptions because we're going to go live, which is going to be absolutely amazing. But like, we have such a great lineup for this year. And last year was amazing. We're obviously like just growing the family. We're going to have some players on. We're going to have a quarterback on every week. We're very excited about it. And we're going to have, I'm trying to think of how else to sort of tease it. We're going to have probably the most electric player in the NFL on the show every week. Can you say that? Could you make the case?
Yeah, you definitely can. Definitely the most versatile player in the NFL.
We're excited. I'm not going to say it. We're going to wait. Tucker Hart is literally like, do not say it. Let the press release go out next week. But we're super stoked. And what are you doing at Hammer Time on this week? Anything?
I'm talking Bryce Young.
All right.
I want to take a little look into what we've seen out of him this preseason and why I'm excited.
You are excited?
Yeah, I know. I'm always with you. I always love giving rookie quarterbacks a chance to sit and develop. But I think Bryce is, as you said, case-by-case basis. Bryce is polished.
Yeah.
I think he's ready to go. I think he's one of those guys you could throw in right away and he has success. But I'll get into that
It's a
tomorrow.
short king fall. Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying.
Short
yeah,
king fall. We had
sure.
Darren Sproles on the show yesterday. Tough words for the Chargers and their head coach and wanting to make some changes. I still picked Justin Herbert as my MVP. That's all going on the West Coast. But now let's bring in, I want to bring in, I want to bring in Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, we're waiting for you for like 5 minutes. We're tap dancing over here with the king of Carbone himself.
Well, at least you got a nice cup of coffee, a nice cup of water to just relax and be casual. How are we doing? It's good to see you guys.
We're good. You look so great. What are you up to?
Nothing much. I was just on I was on Craig Carter's show this morning, so I was that's why I'm dressed in my lovely vest here. Craig Carter said I had a Boys
Love
to
that.
Men. He said I had a Boys to Men vest on today, so I figured I'd keep it on for the rest of the day.
What did you and Craig talk about? I'm seeing him later, and Gronk. I feel like you got to join the FanDuel family. Me, you, Craig Carton, and Gronk would be pretty fun.
I'm ready. I just need the phone call. We got to talk particulars, of course, but I'm ready. I'm ready, man. Talk to me. Now, Craig
Victor,
Carter was great. We just
Victor.
talked about the season and talked about different things. You know, we can't get off a Craig Carter show without talking about the Jets, so we did that too.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about. I'm a little worried. Like, we were just talking about this. You're like my restaurant hookup. If I need anything in New York, like I know Victor Cruz can get it done. Am I to be worried now that all of a sudden, like Alan Lazard is going to be snaking my resi at Carbone on a Tuesday night? Like, how worried are we
It's
about the
possible.
Jets coming into the Giants' territory?
It's possible now, especially if they start winning games, and they start being in contention, and they start doing some good things within this New York City atmosphere. Those ties could turn very, very quickly. So I'm making sure my resis are strong. I think we're safe, Kay. I think you're good with me. But it's going to be rocky for a little minute. You're going to see a lot of Jet players in there moving around, moving a little bit differently, as the days go, especially if they start winning some games.
Is there too much hype around the Jets, do you think?
No, I think, I think it's warranted. I think when you get arguably quarterbacks, to play in the last 20 years, like this energy and this excitement is kind of warranted. It kind of comes with the territory. I mean, look what it happened. Look what it did to Tampa and their fan base and the things that they love to do and want to see their team play. Like Tom Brady changed that entire organization for those couple years that he was there. So we see what it's done to organizations that bring in a guy like that, and then you put him in the atmosphere. I mean, at least right now, all he's shown is that he's the perfect quarterback to kind of relish in this New York City atmosphere and be the guy to potentially bring the Jets a championship.
Are you telling me, Victor, that Eli Manning hasn't texted you like this a-hole, like this guy, Aaron Rodgers? Who does he think he is? He hasn't done that? Come on now.
He has not done. Eli does not have that bone in his body, so he would never. That's us, me, Hakeem, the receivers. You know, that's us moving around and doing it for him.
Daniel Jones, I'm very fascinated by him. So let's talk from Eli to Daniel, the quarterback who sort of like got paid, gets this huge $60 million contract, 4 years, yet somehow is flying under the radar this season because of the Jets, because of Aaron Rodgers. What are you hearing about him? I know you're still close with the team, the guys in the locker room. There's big expectations, but he's got to live up to this, the contract.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things. I'm hearing that he's motivated more than ever. Funny how a nice little contract extension will do that to you, but I think he's seeing and understanding that he has a receiving core and a tight end that can compete, that he's got more talent than he's had in a very long time, and that he's excited to get out there and prove that this contract was warranted and and that he deserves it, and that this play is going to back up that he deserves this type of contract. And I think the team overall is ready. Man, I think when you see how deep we are, when you are in some of the preseason games and you just see players even in the second half that are getting into the game and making an impact, and they're like good players. I mean, we haven't had that kind of depth around here in quite some time. So it's an exciting time to be a Giants fan. And if you're a Giants fan, even if you're a Giants player, this is exactly where you want to be, under the radar, baby. Getting these wins, stacking up these victories. Don't talk about us. We're fine. We'll see you at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no one says under the radar more than Victor Cruz. That is your brand. Just fly, just no one look at me. Listen, last time I talked to you, I remember you said you were for it. You were like, Giants, go grab a big weapon, like go. And then in walks in Darren Waller this season. This is like a Brian Dable dream. Does Waller have the potential to Jeremy Shockey vibe this offense?
100%. I think he's a weapon. I think he's a weapon. I mean, even you saw a couple plays in the preseason, they'll split him out wide and be a number one receiver out there, banking on a one-on-one, dominating that matchup. And I think he's a matchup nightmare for them, no matter where he's lined up against. Like, he's going to be a tough matchup for any team and any player with any skill set. So adding that safety valve and the guy that can make a big play to Daniel Jones, the guy he can trust and has built trust with throughout the preseason and throughout training camp, like, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see just how quickly they can gel and build a rapport on that field. And, a relatively short amount of time. You get a lot of reps in training camp, but let's be honest, training camp isn't what it used to be. And then you want those live action, those full games. It'll take 1 to 2, maybe 3 weeks to see them really get in the groove.
I look at this team and there's so many changes, so many differences, and you're talking about trust and gelling, and I think about Sterling Shepard because he's like the OG there. What did you think when you're hearing rumors or is he going to make the 53-man roster? Is he going to get cut? He's out there on special teams. Like, you have such a great relationship with him. I know that he's so important to the locker room as a leader, as a force of unity, as all of that. But like, what are the conversations with you who've moved on from the game and him who's sort of in a bit of a twilight of what looks like to be his Giants career?
Yeah, I think it's, we've been there. I've been there. You know what I mean? So he understands that, and he understands his role on this team. And I think as a vet now where he stands, I think he understands that his roles may shift and his roles may change, and he may be needed to be called upon less on the field, but still be a voice in the locker room, may have to play some special teams, may have to adapt to a new role. And being a player that can, be that guy as well, be that veteran that understands, look, my time may not be on that slot receiver position where I would love to be. I may have some reps there throughout the season, but I got to show myself on special teams, and I got to prove to be a guy that can continue to keep these guys together, both in the locker room and on the field during the highs and lows. Like, that's something that's respected and something that's needed on a football team as well. So I also think he can still provide a lot offensively. I think he can still, go out there and move around. So a couple clips of him, I watched practice. Like, he's he still moves with the same quickness and suddenness that he had from years ago. So we'll see how the year plays out. But I think he's a strong voice within that football team and one that's indispensable.
It's so well said, and I'm glad. I hope all the Giants fans hear that. I know that they want the best for him, and he's out there doing his thing. You mentioned like he's still got a lot to give offensively, not just from a leadership perspective. What has Odell got? Like, no joke. If we weren't talking about the Jets 24 hours a day, we would be obsessed with Odell and Lamar Jackson on the Ravens, and just the summer for them with Zay Flowers. Lamar's got Mark Andrews. They're loaded. So you have Odell. He's recovering from this injury. It's Todd Monken. It's a new offense. What are we going to see out of Odell?
It's going to be, I'm anticipating a big year. I'm anticipating him and Lamar Jackson getting along and building a rapport right away. I think he's getting more and more comfortable with each practice. I think he's understanding what his role is. I think he's feeling healthy, which is most important. Like, he's feeling really good. His body's feeling really good. He's getting through days of camp. He hasn't had any, I don't think he's gotten any days off yet, any like vet days outside of what's already mandated within the programming. So I think he's showing that he's ready to go. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see like just how quickly they can get that deep ball out there, start to extend and start to give Lamar all of that room underneath. You know what I mean? With Zay Flowers and Odell taking the top off of these defenses, Lamar Jackson, when those things are bottled up downfield, he's going to have a lot of room to run. And his running backs are going to have a lot of room to get checkdowns and make big plays out of small ones. So I expect big things out of this football team. I mean, they're absolutely stacked. And this is a roster that Lamar Jackson can go out and compete with for a Super Bowl for sure.
So, like, are they your Super Bowl choice, the Baltimore Ravens?
Oh, man, don't do this. Well, okay, first of all, Kay Adams, okay, since you're asking me, I'm going to go the Giants. We're going to start there. That goes without saying. But
you
my
really
second
stop.
pick,
Just stop. You're telling me you know what it's like to win a Super Bowl in this city. You're with this Giants team a lot. You have a lot of relationships in there. You're telling me that the Giants are your Super Bowl pick. Why?
I think because whenever the Giants fly under the radar, when you build and construct a team that is balanced with veteran leadership along with youth that can get it done and can elevate this team. I mean, Jalen Hurts was a pleasant surprise the way he's really shined, the way he's shown his speed and shown what he can do offensively. That is an asset and a weapon, not just an asset, but a weapon that Daboll and Kafka can use offensively to really start to treat this game and treat this offense as dynamic as we know it can be with a guy like Jalen Hurts out there. So I'm excited to see where this team goes, but I think we have a makeup. And then defensively, the D-line goes without saying. Our linebacking core is hungry. And our defensive backs, I mean, we get Xavier McKinney back. He's feeling great, captain of the football. Like, he's got the Adoree Jackson. We got guys back there that have been through it and that understand what their role is on this football team. And now they can go out there and be comfortable and just play. They don't have to worry about getting their position taken tomorrow. Or are they the right guy? Fit. All these guys have solidified their fit within this team, I believe, between last year and this preseason, that now they can go back and just be comfortable and go play football.
And, you know, I'm thinking about everything you're saying. I don't see why not. And then I think the big question is Daniel Jones. Nobody has questions about Daboll and what he can do. And if I think back to your 2011 Super Bowl, nobody was talking about y'all. Nobody.
And we came out of nowhere, and we did exactly what we wanted to do, got out at the right time. And Eli Manning, you know, continued to prove why he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that was the year where he kind of put it on his back. And he was like, you know, when we're down, we're not going to, you know, trust our running backs and try to get the most we can and manage the game, see if we can come back. We're going to go out here and put it in our quarterback's hands and have him take over these games, throw the football around and make the right decisions. And, two Super Bowls came out of that. So it was those years were special. And I think the Giants can potentially, in their own way, this own team in their own way, recreate some of that and recreate some of that magic, you know?
So it's Jalen Hyatt scoring a 99-yard touchdown against the Jets that sort of turns things around at some point?
I hope so. I mean, absolutely. We would love that, Giants country would love that. I would love that. Everybody inside the building would love that. Like that guy he's got a bright future ahead of him, and he's got they're going to be banking on him to be there for a long time, making plays and going deep and just showing the full array, being a Pro Bowler. I'm sure all of these things are on his list of things to do throughout his career. So I think he's got a phenomenal opportunity ahead of him.
What'd you make of the Sauce interaction? What'd you make of the whole Sauce Jalen Hyatt thing? What were your thoughts?
I love it. I mean, those guys are going to be battling for years to come. Every year, we're going to go right back to this Snoopy Bowl that they play every year, and they're going to go at it again. So it's just fun. It's a fun battle to have within New York City. It's a fun battle to have between two young talents. Jalen Hyatt is going to do nothing but get better from it and learn from it, and they'll get the best out of each other. Sure, yeah.
Okay, so the Giants, you've sold me. You sold me hook, line, and sinker. I'm in on the Giants on the NFC side. Now pick your AFC matchup for the Super Bowl.
Ooh, AFC matchup. It's tough, man. I'm going to go.
Jets would be great.
I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes has and he doesn't, nobody's really proven. He's trying to get Kadarius Toney right and all of these things, but I can't count the guy out. I just finished watching the QB show on Netflix, and the guy won 3 playoff games on 1 foot. Like, I can't count a guy out like that. And the way he continued to stay positive and just motivating his guys and leading, being out there and just like what? Like, give me that guy any day. He's a guy that you can rally behind, and now I see why players love playing with him. But this year, he's going to have to elevate everybody around him. And I think he can do it. And I think that's something that he's been brilliant at. And we'll see how it turns out this year. But I can't count out Kansas City.
Can't do that. You didn't mention Aaron Rodgers, but I think it's because you're a little bent out of shape because you'll be sharing some screen time with him at Madison Square Garden. Like, they're going to show.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not just Victor Cruz.
I'm not ready to just give that. Yeah, I'm not picking the Jets for anything. I'm not picking the Jets even on Super Bowl Eve, and I got to make a pick. I'm not picking the Jets. It's just never happening. It's not in my DNA.
Well, we love that about you. And now's your chance to show it. We're going to pit Aaron Rodgers up against Daniel Jones. You know both these quarterbacks really well. And you can only answer Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones. There's a last-minute reservation open at Carbone. Who is getting it? Aaron Jones or Aaron Jones? Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones?
It's probably Aaron Rodgers.
Unless you call. You got to call. You got to make it happen for him.
I got to make the call.
The L train. Just so you know, that's a subway. I know you get carried around and like a fan with palm leaves everywhere you go. But the L train turnstile is broken. Who is hopping over it? Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones?
Oh, Daniel Jones all day. He's just a little younger, a little bit higher than Aaron.
He can hurdle. I don't know if I want him running full sprint anywhere. That doesn't seem to work out for him too well. NBC is casting for a New York quarterback to host SNL. Who should get the call, Rodgers or Jones?
Ooh, let's go Daniel Jones. I want to see what he's got. I saw a small clip of him when he was pranking people at the Hugo Boss store, and it was hysterical. I want to see that in the longer format.
I've never seen that video. I need to check it out. I think I'm more interested in what Daniel Jones has to say. You're jogging on the West Side Highway. Who do you see running past you, Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones?
Who's making these questions? I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is more the guy. Just strutting out there in a little, probably topless with his hair flowing, just thing. So I'd see AR out there first.
And the Lombardi Trophy, as we know, will be handed to Daniel Jones over Aaron Rodgers. Victor Cruz, we appreciate you. We love you. I'm going to kill Craig Carton when I see him. I'm going to put him in a headlock in a couple hours for making you late for my show. But we appreciate you, and I'll see you at the U.S. Open, I'm sure, tonight, yeah?
Not tonight, but I'll be there on Tuesday. I think Saturday, the 2nd, whatever day that is. So that means you got to come back.
Hamilton goes. He's waiting for the bigger matches. I'm sorry. Sorry, Victor.
I just go when I'm invited. I just go when I'm invited.
You're the best, Victor. We appreciate you. Good luck to the Giants. You're the best. And I'm gonna tell. Yeah, I hope I get to see him on this trip. Last time he visited us, he came to a trap house in the middle of Manhattan. Remember? Yep. And Craig Carton was randomly. Listen, I think I might have made that. Listen, I'm helping Craig Carton book guests over at FS1. That's really okay. Coming up, we have Pitching Ninja. You need to watch this. We're going to talk a little QB pitcher crossover, and Pitching Ninja joins us live next.
This sinker made Aaron Boone lose his mind. Boone yelled out to Diaz, "What the f*** are you doing?" But the highlight of this was Boone getting behind the plate, drawing a line where he thought the pitch was, and then imitating Laz Diaz almost perfectly. And he gets in Diaz's face after that and goes, "You stink."
I believe the children are our future.
I love it. You stink. Go to kids. All right, my next guest is our very own FanDuel Sportsbook pitching guru. He also runs one of baseball's most famous social media accounts. We are so grateful to have him here. Please welcome the pitching ninja himself. I think he's wearing the logo on his hat. Rob Friedman, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for finally making your debut on Up and Adams. You're so busy. You have so much going on. I know that you won't even be disturbed during games because you are so tuned in and so obsessed with what's going on. So we're so lucky to have you. And you're a cult hero with the pitchers in the MLB. You started out as a fan, and now you give out pitch nicknames like the Airbender that became synonymous with the pitcher. So how surreal has this experience been for you?
I mean, it's crazy. Look, I was a lawyer. How do I end up doing this? I have no idea. So, I hate admitting I'm a lawyer on air. So, this is way cooler.
Yeah. I'd like to, very quickly, how did you end up here?
All right. Well, I started out like a coach. Everybody thought that I was doing really well teaching kids. My son was a pitcher. He ended up pitching in college. And I asked a lot of questions. I mentioned I'm a lawyer. So I grilled a lot of people, learned a ton, and then started sharing it on social media and had MLB guys asking me questions. And I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. And I just wanted to keep sharing stuff and figured I wasn't going to coach forever. So I might as well do that.
Wow. Amazing, and it's worked out for you, and it's just incredible. Now, I want to talk to you about something incredible going on in MLB, because when I hear someone's name, and I know someone's name, as I do not follow baseball, it's a big deal, okay? It's Babe Ruth, it's, whoever, and then it's Ohtani, okay? This guy can throw 100 miles per hour. He can hit 40-plus home runs. What he's doing is insane, and even his situation right now is unlike anything I've ever heard of or seen before. Rob, if a player like this could even exist in the NFL, what would that player have to do to be on the field, to be in that conversation?
You'd have to lead the league in sacks and touchdowns or something like that. It's kind of that crazy. He's so much bigger than the sport that my daughter, who doesn't watch baseball, actually texted me and said, "Hey, is there any chance that Shohei wants his hair done by my stylist? Because my stylist is a huge fan." It's crazy.
How special is he? You're the perfect person to ask. How special is Ohtani?
So I focus mostly on pitchers, and he is one of the filthiest pitchers in baseball. He's just one of the best pitchers. And then you look at him from a hitting standpoint, and as a pitching guy, I'm wondering how to approach him, because he just can hit anything. He's got incredible power, and people don't know he's really fast too. He's got great foot speed, so there's nothing he can't do. He's made in some lab.
When I think of my most exciting moments in baseball, have always been the playoffs. 2011 Cardinals, I was with them that season. But really, I don't care who's playing. Playoff baseball is my favorite thing. So I wanted to get your prediction. I know it's a little early, but do you have a little something for us? I'm sure the FanDuel Sportsbook crowd would love to know who you think is playing in and winning the World Series this year.
Well, I definitely do. As a guy who's based in Atlanta right now, I have to pick the Braves. I think the Braves have a great combination of pitching as well as a really deep lineup. I would not want to face the Braves lineup. It's just deep from top to bottom. For the American League, especially as a pitching guy, I love what the Mariners are doing. I think the Mariners have a very deep starting rotation. Wow. From Luis Castillo on down to George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller. They're just really, really deep and have a deep bullpen as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Mariners. I don't think anybody wants to play them in the postseason. Their pitching is too good, and pitching dominates in the postseason. So that would be my pick.
I love that you love pitching. I was talking to Chris McGolan over at FanDuel Sportsbook about wanting you on the show, and I was like, maybe we have him on to talk about Dinger Tuesday. And he goes, he hates Dinger Tuesday. He's just for the pitching. He doesn't want to talk. Why would you want to talk about home runs with this guy? So I've got him in one ear, and then I've got my producer, Hamilton, saying, ask him about the Orioles. The Orioles are young and feisty. Doesn't he think the Orioles can take it?
I mean, the Orioles are great. And speaking of like non-pitchers, I love Adley Rutschman. I think he's great dealing with pitchers. And I like that pitching staff. So yeah, the Orioles, like, I don't want to throw any shade at them. They're a good team and they certainly could win it.
You've watched, I can imagine, thousands of hours of pitching tapes. I don't think anyone could answer this question better than you. So let's take a look right here. These are current NFL players that were in fact drafted by MLB teams. You've got Jameis Winston, Mahomes, Murray, Wilson. Name someone who's not on this list, Pitching Ninja, that you think would truly make the best MLB pitcher and why?
So I kind of like Aaron Rodgers. I've seen him throw. He's got a really good arm action with a baseball. Like, I thought he looked like he knew what he was doing, but he also looks like a crafty dude who would just figure out a way to get hitters out, right? Like a Kyle Hendricks or Greg Maddux type.
Wow, Aaron Rodgers, the Greg Maddux type. I think he'll love to see that. Aaron Rodgers, would you ever? Like, how has he done the first pitch?
He has done a first pitch, and I thought he looked pretty solid at it. Like, I think he played baseball when he was a kid. He looked like he could throw. Some guys don't. He definitely does.
I need to see that first pitch. We should have that. I want to see that. Now, let's reverse it. Which MLB player which MLB player do you think would make the best NFL player?
So I'm going outside of pitchers. Like, I could come up with a couple of pitchers that I could name, but
Okay.
I think Ellie De La Cruz would be fantastic as a football player.
Let's go.
Yeah, like this dude, incredible athlete, can throw 100 miles an hour. Fast. He's the self-proclaimed fastest dude in the world. So the combination of athleticism, height, arm strength, he could be a quarterback, he'd be a wide receiver. He could do just about anything.
I mean, Ellie did just casually hitting a triple on any given day. It was spectacular. I mean, that's another kid who, if it gets to me, just similarly to your daughter, like if I start hearing these names, that means they were doing something right. Who's the NFL player that you don't want pitching for your team?
Well, unfortunately, I've seen Travis Kelce throw out a first pitch. It didn't go that well for him. Kind of bounced it, almost killed my man Shane Bieber behind the plate too. This is tough. Look at this. Shane's like running out of the way. Don't hit me. He made up for it later on. Kelce threw a strike later on, but this is one of the worst first pitches you'll ever see. And he goes running to try to save Shane Bieber.
Okay, so Travis Kelce, sorry, you do a lot of things right. You're good at host at SNL. You're, trying to rizz up Taylor Swift. You're trying to do all these things, but pitching might not be in your future. Pitching Ninja, we appreciate you so much, guys. Everybody go follow his YouTube page. Not that he needs the subscriptions. He's absolutely killing it. And maybe we'll have you on playoff time, please.
Oh, I'd love to come back.